Hey, how's it going? It's Jeff from jeffrey-thomas.com, and kind of struggling a bit to get this whole bass in frame here, so I'll try not to move too much for you. And today we are going to go through the natural notes for the bass. So make sure you copy that off the website. It's the little PDF icon right next to the video icon, and that way you can follow through with me. First thing is the musical alphabet, pretty much. Once again, this is going to kind of govern all musical instruments. And if we start at A, we're going to have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then back to A again. Okay, very important is the steps in between each of the letters. So if you notice there, A and B is a W for a whole step, B and C is a half for half step, C and D is a W for a whole step, D and E, W, whole step, E and F, half step, F and G, whole step, and G and A, another whole step. No sharps, flats, double flats, or double sharps in this lesson. We're just going to concentrate on natural notes so you can get the placement of everything. We're going to be starting with the open notes and then climbing all the way up to the 12th fret here, and mapping everything out. I'm giving you a pretty simple diagram that just says string and then fret. So, for example, 4th string open is 4-0, and that would be our first note there, starting on the 4th string. And just to make sure I point this out, 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string, 1st string, pretty much always. Nice to know. Anyway, back to the 4th string open, E. Okay, and you'll see that this is standard notation, so we have a line. One ledger line below the staff is the placement for that note E. Okay, now moving up to F, it's going to be a half step, so think of your open note as 0, and then climbing to the 1st fret is going to be F. And then you'll also notice that the note is going to move up to the next space. E started on a line, F moves to a space. Okay, now F to G. F and G is a whole step apart, so we're going to move from the 1st fret to the 3rd fret. And that is pretty much a good explanation of the distance between a half step. A half step is the nearest fret up or down. A whole step is going to be skipping a fret. So 0 to 1 for a half step, 1 to 3 for a whole step. Okay, now continuing up from G to A. This is an important note because it's a first duplicate note. So we have A fretted, and then we have also the option of A on the 3rd string open. Now, people might go, well, how will I know which one? That's a good question. When you're dealing with standard notation that's really specifically targeted for the bass, number in a circle will always tell you what string things are on. So, if you saw 4 in a circle underneath this note, that would mean they want it on the 4th string, 3rd, or you'll sometimes see a 0 for open to tell you that they would want the open A instead. Okay, moving forward we have A up to B. So that's 5th string to the 7th fret there for B because it's a whole step. B to C, half step. Okay. C to D, whole step, takes us to the 10th fret, and then D to E at the 12th fret. All of the open notes are going to start over again at the 12th fret. That's why the 12th fret is pretty significant. Now moving forward, if we were on E here and we wanted to continue up, F would be a half step, so taking you from the 12th fret to the 13th fret. A lot of people kind of trip out and they're like, but what are all these notes up in here? It's, they're the same as the notes back here, just an octave higher. And so it's really kind of like, the majority of the chunk of the fretboard is starting from the open notes to the 12th fret. And then everything that continues from the 12th fret and above is a repeat of things here. Good to know. I'm just stopping at the 12th fret for you. Alrighty, let's go to the 3rd string open, which is A. And then moving to B, it's going to take us from the open to the 2nd fret, because it's a whole step, right? B to C, half step, 3rd fret. C to D, 5th fret, also a tuning note. Okay. And D to E, whole step, 7th fret. E to F, half step, 8th fret. F to G, whole step, takes us to the 10th fret. And then finishing with A. A to A. Open A an octave higher at the 12th fret. 2nd string starts with D. Okay. Moving from D to E takes us to the 2nd fret. Whole step. E to F. Half step, 3rd fret. F to G. Whole step. Takes us to the 5th fret. Also a tuning note. Duplicate note there. G and G against each other. They should match if your bass is in tune, right? G to A, 7th fret. A to B takes us to the 9th fret. B to C, 10th fret. And C to D. Okay. And I'm really not using any specific fingering here. I'm just kind of making sure that I show you where the notes are. Okay, G, 1st string open. G to A, whole step, takes us to the 2nd fret there. A to B, takes us to the 4th fret. B to C, half step, 5th fret. Whole step from C to D should take us to the 7th fret. And then moving from D to E, 9th fret. E to F, half step, takes us to the 10th fret. And then finishing with G, 1st string, 12th fret. Okay, underneath these strings, I have for you 2 scales and a chord. So let's start with the 1st scale and chord. This is C major scale and chord, root on the 4th string, meaning we are starting here at the 8th fret with C. And this is a good example of like when you're looking at standard notation, there's going to be a string number and a circle underneath the notes, and then it's going to tell you how to follow it. For example, the first 2 notes, C and D, are on the 4th string, and I'm using fingers 2 and 4. The fingerings are all written above. Now moving over to the 3rd string, we have E, F, and G on the 3rd string, fingers 1, 2, and 4. Moving over to the 2nd string, right? A, B, and C. Okay. 1st string, D, E, and F. Okay, now the chord pretty much makes sense to map out a guitar chord there for this area, but on the subject of chords for the bass, this is not what you would do. I mean, I don't know, maybe some players would do it. It's got kind of a warm tone, right? But usually what'll happen is the bass player will just play like the 4th string note and then here, getting that interval to sound the chord. But you know, you can get some cool things happening. So chords are definitely not off limits for the bass. I just want to be super sparkly clear on that. A natural minor. Okay, next scale, and then we'll finish up for today. Starting here, A, 4th string, 5th fret, 2nd finger. And then I walk you up to B, same string, fingers 2 and 4. Don't worry about stretching here. Just go ahead and go over to the C on your first finger, 3rd fret, 3rd string. then we have D, and then E, and then F, G, A, B, C, D. And you may notice in my right hand, I'm really not watching my right hand too much, so it's probably horrible, sorry. But it's a good idea if you're using fingerstyle to alternate. I kind of rest my thumb here on the edge of the pickup for support, and I'll go. Right? Playing the same note twice, and then coming back down. If you were using the metronome, I haven't turned my metronome on today, have I? Let's go to 80. I'll just run a real quick example of eighth note, same note twice on the A natural minor scale. Ready, cue. 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, then you would climb back down. Okay, and then also important to point out, I'm using the rest stroke. You can see that the finger is like just laying down there. Free stroke is the opposite of a rest stroke. It's usually for faster things, or some people might be using a pick here. That's why it would be really cool if we did webcam lessons, because we could talk about these things in further detail and how they apply to tunes, right? Anyway, back to the chord here for A minor, sorry. This is a big bar. Both of the chords were barred, and what you need to do is bar that first finger, right? And then get your third and your fourth there for the other two notes. So basically it's a 4-note chord, and it's going to follow this logic. The lowest note is on the 4th string, the note above it is on the 3rd string, the note above that is on the 2nd, and the note above that is on the 1st string. So it would be E, A, on the 4th string, A on the 3rd string, A again with your pinky on the 2nd string, and then barring to catch that C on top. And then down here in the right hand, I'm using a block chord. So thumb, first finger, middle finger, and ring finger, which would be P, I, M, A, and then just springing away from the bass to get all those notes clear. Going back up to C, the C chord is the same thing, a full bar. Okay, make that clean for you there. So bingo, 3rd finger, pinky, and then your 2nd over here. So chords, important on the bass, but they might take a little bit of work to get all the notes clear. It's definitely worth it, okay? We'll wrap it up here for today. I guess related lessons would be natural notes for the guitar, natural notes for the ukulele. Those are lessons that would make sense, that will help you also place all of the natural notes on those instruments as well. So I guess until next time, we will see each other later. Okay, bye.